Today we're gonna seize the day. We got some crazy games to play today. Game Away!
Hey gamers, Nick from Game Away here to bring you my review of StarFox Zero, the latest entry/reboot of the near-neglected series starring your favorite Foxy Fox and his team. Is this the title fans have been waiting for, or do we wait another 10 years? Let's jump right into it. The StarFox series has often been the forefront of using innovative technology and gameplay tropes that have left impressions on gamers for over 20 years since its creation. From using an innovative chip that enabled 3D polygons in the Super Nintendo game, to utilizing a touchscreen to barrel roll out of harm's way in the DS iteration, Nintendo is no stranger on using StarFox as a guinea pig for experimentation. Co-developed by Platinum Games, famous for their difficult arcade-style games and crazy control methods, StarFox Zero is no different from this standard, but I feel like some of the new ideas are half-baked and were tacked on to make use of the hardware that developers just couldn't make full use of with the limited development period. Out of the box, there's a basic menu that fits the StarFox theme. You have the main game, a training mode to get the hang of the quirky controls, the prologue which gives you the basic rundown of the current story events, and the game's unlockable Nope Continues arcade mode. There's also a demo of StarFox Guard, but if you bought the game on or near launch, you get the full game on a separate disc. Unfortunately, if you're looking for a local or online multiplayer, you'll only find a two-player co-op mode that allows for one person to fly the R-Wing and the other to shoot down enemies. Besides that, the multiplayer feature is sorely lacking and is one of the many things that makes me wonder what Nintendo's thinking in times like this. It's been a little over 10 years since we last received a new StarFox game. Ever since the DS outing, fans have been clamoring for a new title that takes complete advantage of the new technology to bring out the best-looking iteration. With StarFox Zero, you'll notice that the game looks smooth but lacks the spectacle that fans were wanting from an HD Nintendo console. I still think Star Fox Assault looks the best in regard to the graphical art style, especially with the flashy design and spectacle, and that was on the GameCube. I think it's because of the Wii U having to process two different video signals to the game's two displays and run both at a high frame rate as well as the different inputs and controls. I think that's why Nintendo held back in this regard. StarFox Zero's gameplay takes the tried and true roots of past games, utilizes some unused ideas, and sometimes brings up the question whether this game is a remake or a reboot in the franchise. The game's core concept of StarFox Zero is to give almost complete control to the player. Taking cues from actual fighter pilot controls, the designers utilize and enforces the gyroscope and accelerometer sensors in the gamepad as much as possible. As a real pilot would use their hands to control a fight stick, which tilts and turns their jet, the gamepad uses the analog stick to replicate this function. For aiming, the gyroscope is used. As most StarFox fans remember, in past games you were able to switch the action into all range mode, which allowed for full 360-degree action and required you to take full advantage of your surroundings. In StarFox Zero, however, these dogfights leave a little bit to be desired. There isn't much to do, even though there's a vast amount of open space. There's not even an on-screen radar to help you track down enemies that might be behind you or off to the side. Instead, you have to rely on locking onto your enemies and a small notification letting you know a baddie's behind you. There are only a few enemies that are shown on screen, so you'll be spending the majority of your all-range mode time finding baddies to shoot down. Even with this small shortcoming, Nintendo has offered somewhat of a compromise by permanently displaying a cockpit view on the gamepad. The solution can be bearable, but averting your gaze from the TV to look down on the second screen takes getting used to. Not only do you have to divide your attention between both screens, you have to watch out for enemy fire from all sides. And because of the perspective is different on each screen, I find myself missing shots that I lined up correctly. This is where the controversy of the controls comes in. Using both the TV and the gamepad as a control method and a reference point causes a lot of confusion, especially when you're in the heat of battle. Remember when I said Nintendo used unused ideas? Well, early on in the game, the missions spend plenty of time introducing new transformations, like the Walker, which originally came from the cancelled StarFox 2. The Walker slows down the fast-paced action that you'll become accustomed to and throws you into a more enclosed area to solve small-time missions. you'll be in this form for levels like enemy strongholds and the like. The gyro wing is slower than the walker, but it allows for more dangerous special ops-like missions with the added gameplay mechanic in the form of a hacker bot named Direct Eye. You can hack computers, enemies, pick up explosives, and chunk them at enemies with a satisfying explosion. The Landmaster tank is back and feels about the same as before, with a few added upgrades of course. StarFox is at its fastest, its most exciting, and its most creative in the R-Wing, but I also enjoyed using the Gyro Wing for those in-between missions. Teleporters appear throughout the game that allow you to play a previous level in search of alternate paths and lead you to otherwise unreachable levels and bosses. Oh, and of course, amiibo are compatible with StarFox Zero. If you scan the Fox amiibo, you'll be able to play in a classic R-Wing from the Super Nintendo days. And if you scan Falco's amiibo, you'll be playing in a black R-Wing, which allows you to lock onto 2 enemies instead of 1, but the downside is that you'll be taking 3 times as much damage. The cast of StarFox Zero reprises their old roles, lending StarFox Zero a similar sense of cheesy fun. Of course, you'll find the classic "do a barrel roll" line in there with a few extra nods to previous games. I found it strange that the characters' voices are only output through the gamepad, which mostly just makes it kind of annoying to record or even stream StarFox Zero. Some of the songs are remixes of past games, and the ones that are orchestrated sound really pleasing and fun to listen to. The explosions are loud and rambunctious, as well as the lasers firing at every corner. Pew pew! Ah, the age-old question. Should you play this game? Yes. Once you get over the old StarFox muscle memory and master the motion controls, the game is a blast to play. StarFox Zero may not be everything that I wanted or expected from Nintendo's first HD console, but I think it's one of the best iterations of the series. Besides Assault, of course. Thank you so much for watching my review for StarFox Zero. Are you going to pick up the game? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so that you support us and make our dreams come true. I'll also have a StarFox Guard review coming out soon, so there's your incentive. Go on and click that button! Click that button!